seeking adventure, some bound in chains, through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain. By test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing up your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. Our brothers and sisters from the diaspora, those who are listening to us on social media, Real FM 91.9, sisters, and YouTube, we welcome you to our program. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything, politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending. And as soon as we start this program, you could pick up your telephone and give us a call. You know, the number to call is 442-0175. You could dictate what we speak about. In our program, we don't have answers, but we provoke discussions. We believe that we must have confidence in ourselves. We must have confidence in our leaders, our country, and we must discuss issues. We could always address the challenges that we have. It's not necessarily about running down or condemning individuals or ideas. Somebody may have an idea, and when you put it on the table, the idea gets marred and it gets squeezed up. But from that idea, good things could come. Sometimes your opinion or your ideas in the form of a hypothesis or in its raw state is not practical. But when people take pot shots at it, and by the time they finish with the idea, sometimes you don't even recognize it anymore. But it come up with a workable formula. We must never afraid to discuss issues. We welcome Kariku in the house. We always welcome our sister I in the house. We are one people in Grenada. You know, we have to understand that we are small islets in the realm of things. We believe in CARICOM. We believe in working together. We can't function alone. And our people must understand that. We can't let petty issues fragment us. Today, a lot of parents in Grenada who have taken the time off to help their children, to make certain they evoke discipline in their children, are happy. The CXC CAPE results is out, and some children did exceptionally well based upon the examination. And some parents are happy. Some children did not do that well. And obviously some parents are disappointed. But irrespective of the result, we must be prepared to encourage and support our children. Because in life, it's not who comes first or who comes second. While we want them to do very well in school, because it helps them to increase the competitive edge in life, we must never give up on others. So those who were not successful, the parents must dig deep and give them support. Remember, we had 4 years that seriously affected the academic intake of our children. 4 years. It is not easy. I believe, and I've said that maybe 2 years ago, government should encourage children to return back to school for another year. All the children that want to and was not as successful as they want to be, they should encourage them to stay in school for another year. Because of the trauma that these kids suffer through industrial actions and COVID-19, they should be encouraged to come back to school for another year. What would be the significance of that? We have high unemployment in Grenada, particularly among young people. So you will be holding back perhaps 1,000 children from the job market. You're holding back 1,000 children from the job market. And in so doing, you give them a better opportunity to prepare themselves academically. You know, sometimes I'm amazed that when you have a crisis, all you economists shut them out. Your psychologists and your social scientists and your historians. One of the problems we have in Grenada is high unemployment. So it's good to hold back some children from the job market. Let us suppose you have 2,000 children entering the job market every year. And you're able to have a scheme where you hold back children 1 year. So that means you're holding back 1,000 children from the job market in a particular year. That could help the job market. While you teach them and you even introduce the competitive edge, a class called the competitive edge, some lectures. So these children in Form 5, so that they'll be better prepared for the job market. I was speaking to John Galt recently in the rum shop. He told me that the Imani program is ahead of his time. He said the reason why so much people have been criticizing this program is the program is ahead of its time. Well, John Galt is not very optimistic individual, but when he starts to speak, I like to listen because he gives reasons and rationale, justification for what he says. And the idea is if you have high unemployment in a country, and it's particularly among the young people, you have to find a way to hold back people from the job market. Well, I think it strengthened my view that the Imani program is the best program that has been instituted in Grenada in the last 100 years. But it's difficult, he tells me, for our leaders to sit because they're preoccupied with who introduced it. And they're not very visionary. You see, leaders must be visionary. And leaders must be problem solving and solution oriented. Leaders must constantly thinking. When you have a challenge in society, it's not about running down the initiative of who introduced the project or who caused it, but to see how we can improve it. And the same principle that you hold back children, you encourage children to return to the classroom for another year. Our schools are not overpopulated, so you encourage children to hold back. The children in primary school, if they want to return back to primary school for a year, you let them be. You encourage those in secondary school, particularly those that are not satisfied with the result, to return back to school. And then you have the Imani program that holds back people from the job market. Now you don't have to, sometimes you wonder why those in authority don't think. And I see the reason they don't think. They're preoccupied with vengeance. They're preoccupied with getting even. When you're in opposition, you criticize so much that you did not think about the workability of what is going on. So this is the situation. You have high unemployment in a country. You likely to have 2,000 people joining the job market. You pledge to make people in the money permanent because you don't understand the money. So John Galt say this program is ahead of its time. You cannot satisfy, you cannot make jobs. You give the economy an opportunity to expand. So you have this holding pen. It is almost like if I was a farmer, speaking from a farmer's perspective, it's almost like a holding area where children are given an opportunity to get job experience, given an opportunity to further the education, given an opportunity to learn new skills and talents, but they are not directly in the job market. So you provide income from them, for them. You provide income for them so they maintain their dignity. There is no need for them to get involved in unsavory practices. But at least you try to hold them back from the job market. You know, sometimes you wish you have more discussion in these areas, and our politicians have become thinkers. We must establish think tanks in areas, whether the ministries, you should have think tanks. How do we solve this problem? And then politicians wouldn't go around trying to fire people to give people jobs. It's not necessary. It is not necessary in Grenada to fire people to make jobs for people. Government is the biggest employer in Grenada, the biggest employer. We have a private sector that is hesitant, reluctant, and the private sector is not a generational private sector. You one person make it, and when they become incapacitated or reach the age where they can't go more, their children may mimic them, or the company is sold on to another company. It's not a company where you find generational wealth and generational interest in business. So there comes a point in time when there is practically paralysis in good businesses. They don't expand. So government continue to be the biggest employer. Government, the St. George's University. So in that case, you have the money program, which helps to hold people away from the job market while they obtain the skills, the talents, the passion, the hunger for the job market. And even the school system, particularly in light of the fact that for the last 4 years was so traumatic for the young people, and pressure is on them to do well, then you hold them back from the job market. So you encourage them to spend a next year in school. Out of the children who has done well, some would go to National College. Some of them may go to St. George's University straight. And some will enter the job market. Because in Grenada today, very few of them want to be wives. Very few want to have children. And even if they have children, they still want a job. Because we have practically neutralized housewives or family. We don't want family anymore. Our children too young to marry. That is the kind of attitude that we have in society. So it's not like yesteryear that when a girl is married or when a girl has a spouse living with, she expects this the spouse to take care of her. It's nothing so to this age. She have to work. Even though she belly big, she pregnant, she have to work. So she have to be on the job market. So I don't know when our economists is going to start to think. More often than not, they come out to universities and they practically lose their ability to speak. And it's not good. You want your economists to speak on issues. We have had the worst pandemic in 100 years. We have received a lot of grant and assistance and aid from other countries. New interests would place on the Caribbean because of what is going on in Ukraine and Russia and the Chinese interests. The Americans and Europe is going to put new interests in the Caribbean. But if we don't have the resource personnel that is academically equipped and competitive in the market, 30, 40 years from now, we will be in the same position. We will be in the same position. And that's why we encourage people to discuss issues. We encourage people to discuss issues. And you can give us a call. The number to call is 442-0175. And I see somebody saying under NNP was victimization, under NDC is change. Well, I don't know. We have to reach the point in Grenada where we want to go forward, where we want to see things different. It's not in our best interest to always justify wrongdoing. My great-grandfather is a thief, and my grandfather is a thief. So what wrong if a thiefing now? You want to see change. You want to see progressiveness. A lot has happened in Grenada today that we did not have decades ago, several decades ago. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Hi, good morning. How are
yes,
you
my
doing,
brother, welcome.
Afternoon, sorry.
Yeah.
I can understand what you're saying about the holding back and the position of the Imani it is playing in the role in Grenada. But you see, I'm always of the concept that our education system itself needs to be broadened, and we need to have diversification in the job market. Because when you check our schools, it's basically there's really time to see a lot of the applicants who go to some business studies, and the technical areas are very minimal persons, a minimal amount of persons that enter these fields. You understand? And they make the short and tie seem so attractive when really in essence it is the most underpaid job in Grenada. The short and tie job is the most underpaid job in Grenada. You don't believe me? Ask a teller in a bank. You understand? So I believe that the problem, it stems from what our children are taught in school and the fields and areas to which they can succeed. You understand? There was a concept when I was growing up that if you study well, you go end up with cocoa. But I can tell you that as a farmer, you understand, I drive and I use the math. You understand? And it is paid for by doing farming. You understand? But we have taught our young people that certain jobs, it's not prestigious. It doesn't appeal to the eyes. You understand? And so they become delusional, and they don't have the essence of what is really, really important and what really can help them build a proper life. You know, so in that area, I believe that our education system, and not necessarily, because even if you hold them back this year, they're going to come in the job market anyway. And it wouldn't be in the next 40 years. It would be in the next 2 years when you hold them back. You understand? And my other issue is that I have a gripe with Republic Bank. Republic Bank will be closing some of its branches, and in some areas providing little less service. You understand? So especially in Goa branch, they say they open them Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Whereas in Sotez, I think they'll be closing on the Sotez branch. Now, it baffles me that Republic Bank I've never heard Republic Bank have a tailor-made effort in addressing the financial issues of persons in sympathy. I've never heard them. I've never heard them. I've never heard a program. But I do the needs of the people is way different as to the needs of the people within the city. You understand? And if we continue to go on that trend, because let's say November comes and the government puts some money to the economy. You understand? We have one bank that is already stifled with liquidity. As a matter of fact, the entire bank system in Grenada is stifled with liquidity. But we have one bank in St. Patrick and a little credit union that is already stifled with liquidity. You understand? And the product that they're offering is not really tailor-made to the people of St. Patrick. So let's say $10 million comes to St. Patrick pension that may possibly be paid in November. You understand? You see the problem that we're having. Yeah. We have money and we have not to do this. You understand? So that is just my thing. I think that we should revisit the idea. You understand? And I think our education system needs to be revamped drastically. So, brother, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Have a blessed day, man.
Yes, my brother. Two powerful points that have been made. And perhaps we better not comment on the one on the bank. No, but it's two powerful points worthy for discussion. The education system, you know, one of the sad things about the education system here, our best minds, our most brilliant minds in the country are involved in the education system. The most educated people in Grenada are involved in the education system. It's people that are very touchy, they're oversensitive, and they're very objectionable to people taking issues with them. When you criticize or when you ask questions about the education system, those involved are angry, they vex, but they themselves are not undertaking think tanks to change the position. You know, I've said many years ago, over the last 14, 15 years, and perhaps the last 7 years when some people would have heard my comments on radio, is the most unproductive department in our country. And they contribute to the trauma and the sluggishness in Grenada and the rest of the country. We have our best minds there, but these best minds, they're not thinking, and they take strong objection to any challenge. Politicians afraid the education system. Any politicians who dare challenge them, they suckle them, they come after them like a ton of bricks. Now, today in Grenada, the present Minister of Education, I think the people in education glad. He is part of the status quo. He cannot rock them. They like that. The result is poor. 70% of the children exiting school cannot even meet their own minimum requirements. And to them, it's nothing. They say they don't have no blame. It's not them. So over the past year, I've been concentrating on parents and begging parents to do more for their children's education. Some of our kids who do well now and go to national college, they'll be studying business management, psychology and business, secretarial arts, computer technology and business. And when they leave the institution, very few of them want to start a business. And they'll be going for jobs, perhaps they want the government to employ them. And if they go to the business farms and supermarket, they're angry, they vex, and they're grumbling. Because they believe they have an associate degree. And they believe the work that goes on in the supermarkets and the business sector is beneath them. Well, they were trained in psychology and business management. They were trained in entrepreneur skills or whatever. They were trained in computer technology and business management. And they go in for jobs with people who work around the clock. And they don't expect to work that hard. Maybe they want an office with a computer. But small business in Grenada that employ 50 to 10, 20 to 50, 30 people. Individuals, the manager probably is the hardest worker and he do his book work in the night. We don't have mega business in Grenada. So one of them will be put in charge of a department. So that's the challenge we have. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome.
Don't you get tired, brother?
I think the caller must ask, don't I get tired? Caller, if you ask if don't I get tired, no. I have no intention of getting tired. I think these are the issues in the community that is there glaringly watching us. I see young people go to school, they're relatively intelligent, they come back with an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree in business management and psychology, and they're looking for a job. I see people in Grenada, a mechanic, an average mechanic in Grenada is working for about $250 a day. About $250 a day. And then you have people with master's degree crying for a job from government. So I believe that I'm in a position to provoke, to use the social media and the radio to provoke discussion. And if in the process, one or two people change, I believe what I say was worth it. A gentleman came to me the last time and he had to find out who I was because at that time we were not on Facebook yet. So people used to hear the voice and not see the face. And he come to tell me that his 5-year-old could blow the shell. And he was so happy. He was so pleased that his 5-year-old daughter could blow the shell. He tell me he's a fisherman all his life. You have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yes.
Yes, caller.
How are you, man?
Great, man.
Yeah, so that's why in our school system, right, we need more skills.
You got to speak a little louder. We're hearing.
You hear me better now?
Yeah.
I said, well, you always say, right, in our school system, we need more skills training. Because I think we place too much academic. Hold on. Huh? Is that better? Sorry.
Yeah, you got to take on the radio. That is blowing us here. We're getting a serious feedback.
It's better now, eh?
Okay, we'll try to work with it.
Right. Yeah. So you see, we place too much on the academic side of education. Yes, we need the academic, but it should be half and half because you have a lot of children in the school system is not academically inclined. A lot of them, I mean, as you just rightly say, a lot may not be able to even read a book, or go through the academic side, in math, but put them to scrap any engine and to assemble a piece of thing, and they will do it for you so good. So we need the as you rightly say, the average mechanic out there, working for how much and how much. So we need a lot, because even right around here, you want you want somebody to fix a pipe for you. You can't get them. You can't get it. You want somebody to erect some electrical thing for you. There is nobody. There is just nobody. Everybody looking for the jacket and tie work. So I mean, it is rather unfortunate. And one more thing I really like. You there?
Yeah, yes, go right ahead, man.
Right. Mr. Pierre, we always talk about abuse, right? But Mr. Pierre, why we concentrating abuse only towards women and children?
We better raise that topic tomorrow.
No.
Okay.
Listen.
It's a good topic.
Yeah, listen. Just let me just give me 1 minute. Any type of abuse is wrong. Any type of violence is wrong. Is not only towards women and children. Any type of violence, any type of abuse is wrong. So we cannot take these things in isolation, and that's what we continue to do. So we are not solving problems. We are simply creating problems. Yeah?
Yeah, brother.
And I can't say these things on them. Anyway, thanks. Right.
Yes, my brother. Yes, sir. I see reading from the Facebook, Dred Peters. He said, when NNP was in office, where were you? I've been on the radio or madam or whoever you are, because your face is not clear. I've been on the radio for the last 7 years on the radio. And in one of my discourse, one of my brothers from one of the other Caribbean country who I've not seen in 20 years, he made the comment that you're on the same topic still. So my brother, you just maybe join us on the radio, and we're glad for you. But the education situation in Grenada has not been existing now. The education situation in the Caribbean has been there for a very long time. And it is very easy for us to go with the flow. We have a few people succeed in our community, and we hatch onto success story. In my day in school, one person passed scholarship. One. The whole school was jumping up. A school with 900 children. We was in celebration because one person passed scholarship. One. And the entire school was in celebration. You know, time has gone. In today's society, we might have 20%. And we don't think about the others that fall through. My brother, if you go to any prison in the Caribbean, all the prisons in the Caribbean are overpopulated. And the majority of people in prison did not have a good secondary school education. They did not have the minimum requirement. So I believe people should talk about it. We do history in school. And for the last couple of decades, I believe that history should be substituted with music. I would take out history in school and teach music. Because when monkey writes his story, monkey always writes. Some people telling lies in history and they put it in book. And we have children sitting on and learn lies. So I will get rid of history and teach music. Our trade union and others glad when nurses leave Grenada to work in Europe. I will prefer musicians leave here and go and work in Europe. Because the chances that they're making money is real. If we have 2 or 3 people like Rihanna from Grenada, it's better than 200 nurses. So I believe we train high end of the scale individuals for the job market. This is why my emphasis is so much on education. And I'm sorry for some of those politicians. As I say now, the Minister of Education, I don't think he could make a dent. I don't believe he could make a dent in this situation. So that's where I was when NNP was in office. Advocating the same things now, expressing my opinion and my views on the different situation. I don't expect politicians to agree with me. I don't expect the National Democratic Congress to agree with me either, because I've objected only to the victimization program. And I do not blame the other members of the union for it, except the president of the Senate. And you're going to hear me a lot asking him if he sold out the workers. I expect him to come publicly and either endorse the Attorney General position or call that these dismissal letters should be rescinded. Otherwise, I believe that he would have sold out the workers. So you're going to hear me on these issues, scholar. And you're going to hear me as long as God gives me the strength. Now that we have social media, and if the radio station run me, you're going to hear me on Facebook. Because I believe we need to provoke discussion. We have to congratulate the children that did perform well. We have to encourage those that was not so successful. We have to understand that the children was under real trauma for the last 4 years. And government should encourage, the Ministry of Education should encourage children who are not satisfied with their performance to come back to school. You're fighting to put them on job market and you don't have jobs for them. You're against the money program. You say you want to make them permanent. So what you mean, you're going to close down the program. Now, what is going to happen to them? If you could hold them back 1 year from the job market, just 1 year, you would have done justice to the job market. Because you encourage these people to go back to the school. Some children want to go to school. The school don't want them. Some of them was not able to graduate. The school don't want them. And they was under serious trauma for 1 year. And that is when I ask, where are our educated people? Why they don't think? You don't have to agree with me. But I'm saying, why not let's discuss it? You know, it's not a question whether I'm NNP or not. You know, this thing is greater. It's beyond the politicians. The politicians have to seriously, they preoccupy now with victimization. I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry for this government now. Because they start up getting themselves entrapped in a victimization program. Now they should be thinking how to solve problem. They're fighting to defend victimization, which was not necessary, not justified. They had no reason for it. The international community poured money in Grenada to address the fallout from COVID-19. The government managed the economy extremely well because they met the treasury pregnant. Yet, they go and look for problem. They go around looking for green blood. And that's one of the challenges I have. So I'm sorry for that. But in the meantime, we still have the reality that about 2,000 children are coming on the job market. We're no longer a country that encourages marriage. So it's not to say out of that, 5% going to get married and they will not be fighting for a job. 2,000 of them looking for a job. It's easy for them to get frustrated. And if you don't have an Imani program again, because those that are there, you're going to make them permanent. So you close the program now. That is what it means on paper. That is what your statement means in practicality. You close the program down, and those that are there, you're fighting to make them permanent. So you'll have people looking for jobs when they don't have. And then you like the idea of being selective. So you're employing those who are yellow and those who are green, you're watching them. Where are the areas you're going to employ them? Still have to be debushing, You may change the name, but it's still the bushing. This is the reality, you know. So I think that people have to sit down and discuss the issue. There are a lot of family members that can provide venture capital for the children. Some parents have money. And if your child have an idea, then you should discuss it and prepare to fund your children rather than leave the money for when you're dead. Your children might sit down and pray for you to death. So rather than leave the money to buy a coffin, big like Hilton Hotel, you could provide venture capital. Because the financial institutions are very liquid, but they are not interested in lending you money because these people you call high risk. Remember, the opposition then called it handout. I understand now they're calling it hand up. You know, you know. So that is one of the challenges we have. And you could give me a call. The number to call is 442-0175, and we discuss this issue. And we want to constantly encourage people. The children that did not do so well in school, remember how traumatic it was for them. For the last 4 years have been an extremely traumatic period. Some children didn't have no sports. So this could be the contributing factor to the low performance in school. So parents, don't be disheartened. Encourage your children. Give them support. Sometimes you have to hug them and pray for them and encourage them to continue the lessons. Even if you have to pay. And don't tell me you don't have money. Grenadians have money. If you are a drinker of beer, and any serious drinker spend more than $10 on drink a day. If you're drinking 3 for $10, then you're spending over $3,500 and something in alcohol for the year. So if you spend a $500 for your child, they could take some lessons and you could encourage them to continue to study, even if they concentrate on maths and English alone. Try your best and encourage your children to go back to school. Don't fight for them to go in national college if they did not get maths or they did not get English. Encourage them to go back to school. Perhaps encourage them to study a foreign language. Because remember, for 4 years, they were seriously traumatized. For 4 years, they were seriously affected. So encourage them to go back to school. Yes, scholar, welcome. You got to speak a little louder first. Caller, you got to cut off your radio and speak a little louder.
Okay. Yeah, this is another time now. Bob the time.
But I got, I think I got the comment, something about NDC say that is the time now. It's an unfortunate statement. And this is one of the things I spoke on early. It saddened my heart when I saw the National Democratic Congress going at attempting or implementing a victimization program. I said during my lifetime, that has never been done in Grenada. It's the first time after election, you have this serious effort to search for opponents and victimize them. I think it is sad and unfortunate. I have called on the president of the Technical and Allied Workers Union, the union representative in the Senate, because he is the last of the old stock of trade union leaders post-84. And while this must have shocked the younger, vibrant leaders, but I think he is the one to speak out. I've not heard his voice. That doesn't mean he didn't say anything, but I didn't hear his voice. And later I will ask him if he sell out the workers. I think it's unacceptable. I would like to find out whether or not, and he should find out, and he should tell the public what group of workers he consider as political workers. And he must be aware that these workers are paying union dues. He might say it's not union dues. He might say it's agency fee. Is one and the same thing. And these workers should not be paying union dues if the union consider them as political workers. It means when the NDC terms up, whether it's in the next 5 years, the next 15 years, or the next 20 years, it means that another victimization program will go on. Because if we permit it to happen today, without rescinding the letters that was given, it means the NNP or any other political party going to feel justified to fire NDC workers. And the people who get job under NDC now, you must know whether you have a political job, whether you should pay party dues or whether you should pay union fees. If the union cannot seek your interests, you should not pay union dues. I've heard Ollie Brian Grimes, and I can't remember the sister name, I think it's Hard or something, spoke out about it, and it seems they get a little quiet. And that's what happens when you find political juveniles. When pressure takes them, sometimes they decree. But obviously, Andre Luis is a seasoned trade union leader. So he have to tell us what deal he made with the government that be. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, my brother.
I ask you a question. Who the union were fighting for, or who they were fighting against? They were fighting for the workers, or they were fighting to get rid of the commission? No, because there's a thing happening. Where victimization is taking place within the less set of workers in the country. And then unions, they stay dumb. They stay dumb. Very 22 personnel ahead at Anna Grimes. They 2%, all the rest is still dumb. Like that.
I think the union get tricked. Maybe the union, they had the issue with NNP and they'd like to see the back of NNP. But I think the union was fighting for the workers. Maybe they get tricked. They didn't understand the bitterness and the anger of the NDC hardliners. So maybe they never expected the National Democratic Congress to have a list victimizing workers. I don't believe they expected that. So they got tricked. And as a result, they're trying to find out how to deal with it. And they are not getting support.
The same way they got, right?
You're breaking up. You on your WhatsApp?
Right?
You stationary?
Go out on the street.
You're kind of breaking up.
That,
Caller, you're breaking up. You may be a little too far from your WhatsApp. I think the caller break up a little. You're breaking up. Maybe you're a little too far from the internet. Perhaps you have to close the radio. Sometimes I do that too, trying to move away from the radio. But you're breaking up. I believe the union was genuine. Maybe they had the issue with the government and they believe union has said that. And naturally, the Public Workers Union and Teachers Union, they never really supporters of NNP. They never really supported, they're most likely to support NDC. But I don't think the union expected the National Democratic Congress to go and victimize workers. So the union had to end up in a monkey pants. And they are not getting assistance from the president of the Grenada Trade Union Council, Andre Luis. So they're in a monkey pants. And it will take some time for them to untangle themselves. But as I say, this is the first time, and I intend on, that a government comes in power and make a list and going out victimizing workers. And the Attorney General words to the effect claim that they're against the transformation agenda. I've never heard that in my lifetime. I think it's a sad and unfortunate issue, and it must be dealt with now. If it is not dealt with, it will become entrenched in our system, and when this government change, whether it's next time or next time or next time, you're going to have other people in Grenada being politically victimized. It is not right. It is not right. It's unfortunate and it's sad. And it tells you some of the bitterness that the National Democratic Congress let themselves be encapsulated with. I understand Onisto was one of the individuals preparing the list. And when they see the list, some members was not too happy. And some encouraged to go slow with that list. Well, we're going to have some other programs advising people in the public service that if you hear your name on the list, then some steps you could take that the effect on you is not devastating. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, in terms of the dismissal of Mr. Dr. Panchu, could you...
I don't think they dismissed Dr. Oh, yeah.
Can you say what is the grounds, or if you hold the grounds that sent it, that caused him to be home? Personally, I met him in person already, but I believe that he was doing a fairly good job, knowing that he alone was the psychologist in Grenada, doctor. But I have not heard the grounds more than I heard that he was given his dismissal in an email. I don't know if you're aware of the grounds. And secondly, the government have just start to roll out, I think they say the second or third package of the stimulus package. And it seems to me that some people who are unemployed, who lost their jobs through the COVID and so, may get some package. That is a good stimulant again, but again, the money comes from money that they made there again. So they are making use of every cent they made there, it appears. And that is not a bad move, but are we certain that these things can consolidate? Because if you start off, if you give somebody at the start to start up a business, what are the factors in place to make sure that business continue? And if that business fails, it means that these monies will go down the drain. So while it's a good system, I'm wondering if there are package, if there are means and ways of seeing people keep, for instance, if a person start up to bake, what are the guarantees that the person will continue baking? If a person start up in mechanic, what are the things that he will keep? He take a load. What are he going to keep doing the repairs? Are there factors in place for that? Are you aware of that?
I think Grenada got a lot of assistance, and a number of countries got assistance because of the effect of the COVID-19. And based upon what I've been hearing, this money is there. They receive it, and there was first assistance, second assistance, and this is the third tranche of assistance. And the next thing is, and all that adds up. There is absolutely no justification for the victimization of the workers and causing them to lose their job. There is no justification for it. You know, whether one business start up and fail, anything could happen. The person could die, you could have fire, so business could start up, and for any number of reasons, the business could collapse. In England today, 60% of new businesses fail within the first 5 years. 60% of new business fail within the first 5 years. In England. So imagine in Grenada, you could have business start up and fail. Yeah, we have a call on the line? Yeah. Yeah, so definitely you could have business startup and business fail. But a number of assistance has been provided for Grenada. Remember, Grenada has been performing well. Grenada has been doing well under COVID-19. And the Prime Minister of Grenada and his team was lobbying international institutions well. So they benefit immensely. So assistance was provided there. So there is absolutely no justification, no reason for the National Democratic Congress to fire people and make people lose their job. And I think the best person in Grenada to address this issue is Andre Lewis. He is the President General of the Technical and Allied Workers Union. He is the union's representative in the Senate. And he is the oldest stock of trade union leaders, the last after post-1984. I've not heard him say anything. And as a result of that, I will continue to ask him if he sell out the workers. You know, he is supposed to find out from the government, work with the government to find out who they consider as political workers. And the question is, should political workers pay union dues? If somebody go in a job and you consider them as an NDC, maybe they should pay the NDC party fee and not union dues. Because if the NNP come back in power, they're likely to lose their job. That is the precedent that we will set in this country. Sad and unfortunate. It has never been said before. It has never been done before. I don't think any government has fired anybody and claim it is because of the political involvement in another political party. It's a shame, it's disgraceful, it's unfortunate, and the National Democratic Congress start up the game on the wrong trajectory. You know, and I believe our people must discuss this issue because it can have serious repercussion for the future. And we come to the end of our program today. We're always glad to have you. Those who contribute on Facebook and those who call on the phone, and we're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1. And we always give you an opportunity to punch.
Celebrating song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound of victory drum for Caracom. The great and diverse be our ethnicities, the bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love, we dance and we play, we relate to each other, the rest in Yahweh. United as one. Determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon. The future now firmly in our hands. Raise your voices.